Legend War here, and today we've got a Rating You 1 Woman Doomstack covering a generic lord, this time not a legendary lord, an Archmage of Life, part of the Knights of Calidor, where it doesn't look like it's been trait managed. The person in the email guarantees that it was not trait managed, and I do appreciate people being transparent and letting me know about this stuff in the emails now. Where there's all the important traits have been obtained. The Great Green Killer, where is it? Doomslayer and Pride Assassin, those are like the key ones for physical resistance. Legend Slayer, so defeated Gotrek, and then there's some ones like that one there as well, Deep Cleaner, Wades Through Gore. Got a few traits that probably aren't that needed, like Immortal Unbeloved. Frenzy's good, don't get me wrong, but it's just not that important. Same thing with the Day After, it's just not that big of a deal. But Wanderer No More is really good. Bonus versus large and melee defense plus 10. Some key ones here that you could have gotten to make it even better is Krokgar, Nakai the Wanderer, and Kolek Sanida for bonus versus large and melee defense. Those are sort of like the key things that you want to do if you want your character to get as high melee as possible. I guess extra melee attack would definitely be useful. Now, before we get into the actual battle itself, when we go up against Azag here, I just need to let you guys know that there is currently a community post on at the moment to let you guys know about the like a end of year live stream where we're going to do 24-hour live stream, where there's like sub goals for different like tiers of challenge that I'll go through. So if you've been watching these videos and you haven't yet subscribed, now's probably the best time to do so if you want to see those extra challenges during that that live stream. Okay, so if you want to see the community post as well, just go to the back end of the channel and hit the community tab, and you can join the discussion there. I'm definitely listening to feedback about what charities to do it, because it's going to be a 24-hour charity stream. We're looking to partner up with 3 different charities. That way you guys can donate to whichever ones that you see fit, rather than, you know, forcing you down one way. Anyway, so in terms of equipment, we've got the Armor of Destiny, Winged Staff for weapon. We don't have the Sword of Cain, which is nice. Just to let you guys know that I will accept the Sword of Cain on occasion. It just depends on the faction, and High Elves are one of those factions where I can kind of tolerate it, because they can mitigate a lot of the problems with the Sword of Cain. But that being said, I definitely appreciate it a lot more if you don't have the Sword of Cain. Talisman of Preservation, the Phaliarath's robe, so that provides loads of physical resistance, but we lose a lot of weapon strength with that. And the Gem of Sunfire. Now, because we're playing as the Knights of Calidor, we do have access to this item here, which is unique to the Knights of Calidor, and this is an enchanted item that provides 20% ward save. Now, this one here provides 50% physical resistance. If we have a look at this a little bit, we can sort of do a little bit of manipulation. We're currently at 83% physical resistance. Actually, we're at the absolute cap, right? But if we took this off, we'd go down to 33%, right? But if we pop the ward save up to 56%, we'd actually be at 89% physical resistance, and have a lot more ward save without losing the weapon strength. So it just depends on which way you want to go about it, but I think in this case here, taking this shooting star would be better, because it also comes with bound chain lightning, which we already have bound chain lightning because they are a archmage. So curious to see what would happen in that case there. So it really just depends on how you want to go about it. But the loadout that we initially had here, there's no reason why you couldn't get multiple of these one-woman Doomstacks throughout a campaign, as long as you're willing to, you know, get those traits for all those additional characters. But you can see we've got a massive boost in our weapon strength here, so it's going to make it a lot easier taking out single entities. But I don't think it really matters one way or another. And since we're only losing 1% physical resistance, I think it's worth it in this particular case here. Now, declare war on Azag here.
Let's go, Manchuria. He's gonna eat these if they say something stupid.
Come on, you can do it. There we go. And let me just double check that it's on very hard battle difficulty. Sometimes it isn't, but this person did. Okay, cool. I don't care what campaign difficulty you want to play on. Play on easy for all I care. I don't really care. But we got to check for, you know, these battles that it's on very hard. Okay, and then let's jump in here and see how we go. So yeah, you took out Gotrek's trait, which allows us Unbreakable. But if you don't get Gotrek's trait, you could get the Helm of Cain or the Sword of Cain. Or you could just trait manage it. You know, I wouldn't really know. It's up to you. Alright, so which one should we use here? We've already got flaming attacks, and base weapon strength plus 8% is not that big of a deal. Extra melee attack might actually be better. Yeah, let's go with that one there, because that'll increase our chance to hit by 5%. Because those stats aren't amazing, and we're definitely going to want to take out Azag pretty quickly. There's no one in this army here, it looks like that's got magical attacks. Yeah, so it's all physical stuff. So getting that extra ward save didn't really matter that much, apart from just being able to have more spell resistance. Alright, let's jump in here and see what we can do. Now, it's not exactly the toughest of enemies that we've ever gone up against with a one-man Doomstack, but we'll get the idea with it. There's a good amount of monsters in here, which I think that's what this one's really going to struggle with the most. Not that it'll struggle with any individual, like one giant or anything like that, but the more monsters they have, the more they'll struggle. But yeah, you definitely want to be taking out the Flying Lord immediately, just like we did with Imric against Zhao Ming. Take out their Flying Lords as quickly as possible, unless they're not really that much of a threat or you can't catch them.
Archmage.
Alright, here, let's have a look. Alright. Let's go in and just start fighting.
Yes.
Now you can definitely make a one-woman Doomstack with this, with the other high elf factions, but the strongest one will be with Imric because of this item here. So if we have a look, we've got now 56% ward save. So yeah, that extra ward save helps there because that counts as spell resistance.
The vortex commands where I predicted.
And we're essentially at the missile resistance cap as well.
Yes. Archmage repositioning.
So first thing we want to do, take out Azag. Now, since it is part of the build, we're definitely going to be using Dwellers Below.
For all of one.
Because that's part of this one's thing, I guess. We don't have regeneration on the Lord, nor do we need it. You can get it if you take out Isabella as a Lord while she's the endgame crisis. But I had a look here, and it looked like it was only the Wood Elves that are the endgame crisis, not the vampire counts. Could use damage reflection there, but I don't think that's that really big of a deal. So taking a bit of damage here. I don't think we really need to worry too much about this. I don't really need to cheese it either. Alright, Azag's gone. Then he said the next thing to do is take out Doomdiver catapults, although I don't really see why. They don't seem to be that much of a threat. How are these guys going for damage? Yeah, they're doing nothing. While we're up in the sky, we should definitely make use of the Dragon Breaths, because we can't do that while we're on the ground.
In Hoab's name. I am sent.
And what we can do with these single entities is either fight them early or ignore them completely and just try to focus on getting the army losses on them. But I think if we want to test this fully, it's probably a good idea to see how well this one will actually go up against a giant and some Black Orc big bosses. So yeah, we didn't actually get any additional casts of the Chain Lightning. So all that item gave us was extra ward save. So yeah, it takes out the giant really easily. That's not a problem. Alright, let's start casting some spells. Even though we've got loads of missile resistance, it's probably still best if we take out the archers first with some of the lesser spells. Yep, even mixed in a bunch amongst the infantry, the Lord is still able to take out the giant with absolute ease. Yeah, see, this will happen sometimes. New units will come into the fray and distract them when you're trying to take out one specific unit. Okay, good.
Attack!
So they're not crowding around us just yet, which is why I'm holding off on using dwellers below. If we have a look here, they are... Okay, they're actually doing a fair bit of damage. Maybe we should take out the archers, or at least stop them from shooting. Because even if you're at maximum missile resistance, missile units can just do so much damage anyway. Especially if there's loads of them. Alright, that looks like a pretty good opportunity for a dwellers below there.
Behold my power! Slay them!
And let's use another breath attack.
I summon the winds! It is fated! Without hesitation! To battle!
Right, this book's finished. Yep, pop that down. Okay, some Black Orcs in there. Give them the opportunity to actually dish out some damage to us.
Take arms!
Yeah, they're not crowding around us as much as what I was expecting. Alright, yeah, I think we should use the dwellers below to try to take out these archers, more so than the whatever we're fighting in melee. Just to begin with.
At once!
All this weapon strength kind of goes to waste a bit against chaff, so we're probably better off taking on things that have higher entity health. You can see we take out like a fifth of its health in one go against that. Yep, that's it. Aim for the Black Orc big boss there.
Observe my
Okay, one Black Orc big boss dead. Already 1,000 kills without really any serious effort here. Like, this is not difficult to do whatsoever. Where'd the other one go? Is it already dead? Jeez, they're getting really quick. Alright, we've already hit the max regen cap. It's just purely because of the missile units. Even with the max missile resistance, dragons are just too big. That's not very good.
Magic's unleashed! A prudent position.
Yeah, we're just waiting on them to blob up a bit more so I can take them all out. Kind of would have been good to see a few more late game units in here. It's a lot of chaff. I guess that's what's going to happen if you're playing on lower campaign difficulties. Balance of power is almost even already, so army losses should be triggered fairly soon. Especially when you're taking out... Yeah, look, all of the monsters wouldn't have made any difference. Even if they had something like a rogue idol, we probably could have taken down easily. Honestly, the thing that's given this one the most trouble is all the archers. Yeah, there it is. And we still had about 40 winds of magic left in reserve. Having used up all my healing though as well. Just about all my healing, then use up every last bit of it. Oh no, I did. Yeah, whatever. Cool. So yeah, it's obviously a really good one woman Doomstack, to be able to get 2,000 kills without really any effort, 100 wins of magic, but only used up a little bit more than half of it. Took out a legendary lord like it was nothing. Only rank 32. Pretty much got the best equipment you could get, apart from maybe getting the Sword of Cain. But that wouldn't have made us any more resistant to any of the missiles, because all the ward save, physical resistance, and missile resistance all stacks together against it. What would have been more helpful against those missile units is actually more armor, because that can go on top of the resistance, and you can block 100% of all non-armor piercing damage. So goblins having very low armor piercing, you can block that completely, but there's not really that much you can do to get a character like 200 armor unless you're playing as Bretonia.
Leave the lonely waste weak.
But yeah, it's not really
Master of high
impractical to
magic.
do this whatsoever, because it's just a trait using influence. Influence is not difficult to get, especially in later stages of the campaign. So 60 influence trait, you could always just save it from one campaign, load it into another. I'm not the biggest fan of Incendiary anymore. I mean, the weapon strength is definitely good, for sure, but they really significantly nerfed that. Getting more melee attack and melee defense would definitely be better. Good amount of health. It's not difficult to get the Wades Through Gore trait. Getting all of these traits does require you to move around a fair bit. But one thing that the High Elves can do, and I think that's what he's done here, is you can essentially discover the entire map by having trade agreements, since you get all of the line of sight with whichever faction you're trading with. It allows you to spot out and track down certain legendary lords and then just go over to them and defeat them. You don't have any sort of teleport mechanic, but if you've got like settlements all over the place, you can just recruit and disband your characters wherever needed. I'm assuming that's what this person here did. If we let's have a look at this. This will give us, I think, a bit of an idea. No, not really. The map here doesn't show any sort of fog of war. I was just curious if he was using like a fog of war mod. It doesn't show that on the save file, but it's definitely not unheard of, especially for lower difficulties, to have discovered the entire map. And if you have a look here, it did sort of happen sort of gradually, whereas if some sort of mod happened, it would have just all of a sudden instantly been done. And you can see here, while it did happen very quickly, especially in the western continents, they're still filling up spots as the campaign progresses, and then eventually you can see it's pretty much all discovered at that point there. So it definitely doesn't look like any sort of mods was used. Yeah, it definitely doesn't look like it, but you can never really know 100% for sure. Anyway, that's the end of this one here. Right, I actually forgot to rate it. It's practical. Wait. For one-man Doomstacks, don't I still give out number ratings? For a non-legendary lord, it's pretty much a 10 out of 10. It's quite practical, it's very strong, and it's very easy to use. Dwellers Below gets rid of infantry really easily. Got a lot of health, you got your regen, you don't even need the regen trait. You're just using up a little bit of magic for, what's the spell called again? Regrowth. Yeah, that's not too difficult. You have access to more winds of magic, so if you got Bellicor's defeat trait, that'd be good for a bit of extra, but it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, overall, it's a very good one-woman Doomstack, and you can make multiple of these throughout your campaign, so that way you don't even need to have armies. But it's not like the High Elves really strapped for cash, although in this campaign, this is very low amount of income for turn 113. Anyway, that's the end of this one here, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you learned something. Don't forget to check out the community post, get some information about what we're doing over the next couple of months. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time, fuckers. Bye.